Hello and welcome everyone to our ABAP on HANA come S4 HANA course on YouTube with me Amrit. So in this part we are going to discuss the concept of ABAP database connectivity. So ABAP, or in short form it is known as ADBC. So ABAP database connectivity. Okay. ABAP database connectivity. Now, what is this ADBC? So let's start with introduction. And then we will see its implementation one by one, right? So what is ADBC here? So ADBC stands for ABAP database connectivity. Okay, it is like JDBC in Java. It is like JDBC in Java. If you remember JDBC, if you have developed any Java application, there we have the concept of JDBC. So Java database connectivity. Usually using this, we connect with the database like MySQL and or MS SQL etc. Right? So what is the use of this ADBC? What is the use of ADBC and why do we need it? So use case of ABAP database connectivity. ABAP database connectivity. What is the use case of it? First thing, using this ADBC, ABAP database connectivity, what we can do, we can directly run the HANA related queries like select, insert, call procedure, etc. using our ABAP code. So we can directly run the native HANA queries also using our ABAP code. So there can be a situation like, let's say if we don't have a ADT tool, so we cannot directly work on HANA Studio, right? So there this ADBC comes into the picture. So let's take a scenario when we will not have the access of ADT tool, okay, that is HANA Studio. Then we can go for ADBC. Then we can directly go for this ADBC, which is your ABAP database connectivity. Also, when our database, or let's say when our HANA database is working like a secondary database, then we can go for the ABAP database connectivity. So there can be a possibility like in my organization, let's say I have multiple databases and my HANA DB is working like a secondary database there. So we cannot directly execute something. So here ADBC comes into the picture. Using this concept, what we will do, we will connect with our ABAP database, HANA database, and then we will be able to execute all the HANA related queries easily. Okay. So what you might see, let's write it as a note in your life, that in the real time, it can be possible that our HANA DB might be working as a secondary database. It can be possible that our HANA DB might be working as a secondary database. So there what we can do, we can use this thing. Then what you will see, fourth point, ABAP Database Connectivity was introduced by SAP from 7.4 version onwards. It was introduced by SAP from 7.4 version. And how you can check the version of SAP, all these things, just open your SAP system. Let's go and check it. So I will open my SAP system. And I'll go to system and status. Here you can check it, go for product version, and you can see here the version of my system is 7.58. You can see gateway find, which is necessary for ABAP. This is my SAP basis, which is my NetWeaver version, right? So since we are working on 7.5 version, then easily we can use this ADBC as it was introduced from 7.4 syntax. Okay, then what are the steps? So steps for implementing the ADBC, which is ABAP Database Connectivity. So steps for implementing the ADBC concepts, let's see that. Okay, what are the steps for implementing the ADBC concept? So there are almost 8 steps that you will always have to follow. There are almost 8 steps that you will always have to follow while implementing the concept of ABAP database connectivity. So my step one will be, we will do the connection. So we will set the connection to the database, to the HANA database. Okay, and how we will do this connection? So how we will do this connection? We have a standard class CL-SQL connection. And there is a standard method of this class, which is get connection. So there is a static method of this particular class CL-SQL connection, and its method name is get connection. What we can do? We can use this method to do the connection. So here I will go to AC24. I will go for this CL-SQL connection class. Yeah, I'll open it in display mode. You can see here this is a class for database connection given by SAP system, and if I check its method, here I will found this get connection. Let me check where it is. Get con name. Yeah, see here, static method opens a connection to a database, and if I go inside this method, I will find that there is a parameter connection name, and this is your DB connection name. You can see here, if you will double click, you will find its character length as 30, and it is the short description for this data element is logical name of a database connection. So what SAP has done, that there can be possibility that, let's say if your database is working as a secondary database, so there your basis team, so in this method we will have to pass the logical name of the database, or let's say HANA DB defined by our basis team if our HANA DB is working as a secondary database. If our HANA DB is working as a secondary database. So they will define a logical name, you will ask them, they will give you, and using this con name parameter, using this pass the logical name of HANA DB in con name parameter. Con name parameter, connection name parameter. Okay. So what this method is going to do, this method will return you the object of CL-SQL connection class. This method will return you the object of this class. This is a static method which will also return you the object of this connection class, CL-SQL connection. Okay. But if you check this method, if you check this particular method get connection, you will find that this method has defined exceptions also. So we will have to handle the exception also. Okay. This is your first step. Then you will have step 2. So step 2, what is my step 2? Step 2 will be instantiate the statement class. Statement class is the class in which we pass our query. So the name of this class is CL SQL statement. This is your statement class, CL SQL statement. Based on the connection object. Instantiate this CL SQL statement class. This is the class in which we will write our query. So we have got the connection object from step 1, and based on the connection object we will simply instantiate the statement class. Okay. So if I check this CL SQL statement class, go there, lots of things you will also find in this class. CL SQL statement. Yeah. See, execute query, execute DDL, execute procedure, set parameter table. Lots of things are here. Lots and lots of things are here. Okay. For each of them we will see their implementation also. Then we have step 3. So step 3 will be construct or write the SQL query. Okay. And also bind the parameter, like if you are taking any input, based on that if you want to write the logic, so you can also bind the parameter if possible. Okay. Or if you are simply writing a normal query, that one you can also use that. Okay. Then step 4, we will execute it. So execute the query or execute the SQL by calling the method or appropriate method of CL SQL statement class. Okay. CL SQL statement class. We will call the appropriate method of this class, and I have shown you here. Check it out. We have lots of method. Execute query for executing select statements, execute DDL, right, for executing a DDL operation, for example create, drop, alter, right. Then update is there for executing DML statements like insert, update and delete. Then we have execute procedure also for executing a stored procedure, So with this step 4, we will call all these methods. If I have written a normal query, I will call the execute query. What it will do for executing select statements. Okay. Then 2 will be there. So execute DDL for executing the DDL statements. Okay. For executing the DDL statements. Then execute update will be there. Execute update will be there for executing DML statements. So executing DML statements. DML statements can be insert, update, delete. Okay. Insert, update and delete. This can be create, alter, etc. So create, alter, etc. Then fourth one will be our execute procedure. Execute procedure for executing the stored procedure. So these are some of the appropriate methods of our CL/SQL statement class, whose job is to simply execute the query that we have written. If it is DDL, we will execute it. If it is DML, we will execute it accordingly. If it is a procedure, we will execute it accordingly. Okay, this will be my step 4. Then I will have step 5. Then I will have step 5. We will assign the target variable. For result set. We will assign the target variable for result set. So we have a result set class. The name of this class is CL/SQL result set. Class. We have this class CL/SQL result set. Okay. And if you check this class, you will have lots of method like set parameter structure for setting the structure, set parameter table. Using that you will get data in form of internal table. Okay. So these are mainly for output parameter. Then you will have step 6. So step 6 will be retrieve or get the results in the output. Okay, we'll get the result in the output. It can be a structure or it can be an internal table also, totally based on us, right? It can be a structure or it can be an internal table. And at last, step 7. So step 7 will be close the result set. Okay, we will close the result set class. And step 8 will be close the database connection. So if you are correctly following all these steps, then you can implement any kind of ADBC program. 8 steps are there. You will create the connection, then you will instantiate the statement class, you will write the query, and then you will execute it using the same class. It has lots of method. After that, we will simply assign the target variable for result set. We will create a output internal table or work area, whatever it is. Then we will simply allocate them, right? Then we will get the results and then we will simply close the connection. This will be your steps for implementing any ABAP database connectivity. So this was all the introduction part of our ABAP database connectivity. In the next part, we will simply implement the logic. Okay. So thank you very much for watching the video.